And now, Mount Hotenow. So Mount Hotenow, as we said at the very beginning of the stream so long ago, is the mountain that is looming over Neverwinter, which gives the heat to the river that makes it so it never is winter. That's all awesome. But we... I'm just checking here. When the zone is... so we're going to go to Mount Hotenow. The zone, when it was created, levels 55 to 58. So, we've really been traveling in a series just about level-wise to each of the places. So Mount Hotenow sort of continued this quest line around something's going wrong. This time it's in the mountain itself. And this is a very bad idea because of what happened during the spell plague. When the spell plague hit, Mount Hotenow erupted and lava came down, turning the river momentarily basically into lava and tearing through the city before it finally calmed down a bit. And a lot of people just sort of thought like, oh, that was just like a weird magical spell plague effect. But it wasn't actually. It was the fact that, and this is in some of the novels, evil forces, including Valindra's Shadow Mantle, were trying to free what is at the heart of this mountain. And spoilers, what's at the heart of this is a primordial that's bound inside of this huge mountain called Megara. And let's see, we should have some lore in this area as well. Lots of devastation that took place. A lot of this is around the fire giants, because what's happening here is that Gammoth the Twisted and other fire giants are trying to... They started looking to, what's going on in this mountain? Why is it all so hot? And started uncovering that, hey, it's because there is this primordial there, and if we can wake it, then we're in good place. There are also a lot of fire elementals that are here drawn by the mountain. They're basically some portals as well to the elemental chaos. And so all these fire archons, which they're, way too many here to be logical, but hey, go with it. It's a video game. The fire giant is trying to work with them. Yeah, it exploded, all that kind of thing. And then the idea that this Dawn Titan this ancient primordial has been bound in here. And at various points, entities have tried to break it free. So a lot of the plotting is really dealing with that and talking to these different folks here who can help out.
They mounted an expedition to try and reopen the old mines.
All right, so we're going to go in and see what we can do to help. Another fun thing is that these are the ruins or remains of a proud dwarven civilization that built all of this very impressively, and then this kind of cataclysm starts tearing apart. So you can see here, and we'll see a lot of these elementals. They're very cool looking, and the way they do things, the kind of graphic quality is super awesome. The way they glow. I killed them, far too easily, or my companion does, but they're very neat when you fight them. And they were all out of 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons, which had some amazing elementals. You also have things like ash miners that, were turned to ash, which is a really cool concept. These dwarves turn to ash, and they will fight you too. But I mean, look at this place. It is so cool. The sculpting of all this, like the way these, you have some of this, again, spell plague earth moat type thing. The tones here, the lava, the rock, super, super cool. The dwarven architecture. I mean, this is just so neat, right? Really, really, really cool. Unstable magma brute. And they'll like summon up fire and throw it at you, which will, if you don't move, which I'm not gonna, send you flying. And these ash miners attack you. And around this time, my companion will aggro everything. Okay, not too bad. But it's just really neat. Yeah, there's, oh, glowing rocks, just really cool. There's a event where you can kind of catch fire methods, and it gives you points, and persons who get the most points get more. Really, really amazing terrain all over this place. It's really one of the neat looking areas. It's also one of the areas with the most glitches. You can often do things like jump into lava, and it will do damage usually, but in some places it actually doesn't. And you can just sort of hang out in the cool areas, but you're trapped, and you just kind of can go underneath the lava and move around. It's very funny. As with other zones, multiple ways you can go. Kind of cool. There's some quests that are so silly, like these, opening these vents and stuff like that. And you get to this really cool idea, Heartleaf's Garden, and you have this druid who you can talk to.
One day, my tree will be the heart of a great forest, if we live, of course.
And so you work with this druid to handle all the dangers that are taking place. Another nice view here. Look at that. But I like this idea, in the middle of all this devastation, there's this druid, right? And the forest here was all blown away, as it said in the lore area. So you can see some remains of trees which are completely blackened. So what Heartleaf is doing is bringing that back, right? Giving it life. I love it. Look at that. So you can really get the sense here of how the kind of volcano is kind of broken apart in places. And look at this. This is so great. So this is this bridge you cross, and there's a skirmish that took place here as well, where you would fight to defend the bridge and defeat a fire giant titan on it. But this is so great, this dwarven architecture of this bridge. Fire cross bridge. I can catch a mevet. No, not the jar. But what a neat idea. Love the look of this. It's neat views. Really cool. You get a little, when you're doing the quests, you kind of end up in this area and you talk to these different...
We must stop Gamoth and his allies, or all we've done will be ashes.
It's very fun to talk to all these folks. And they would... Yeah, all kinds of neat quests to figure out what's going on in the place, and you start unraveling the whole concept of this evil entity. Multiple ways to get around here, which is really cool. All these little bridges. As with the other zones, sometimes it's like, well, did it really need to be this big? I'm not sure that it did, but it is. It's this huge zone, and look at this, like this fortress here. So one of the quests takes you over into this area, and you go in here, I believe. Look at that. Yeah. If you're that's the end of that little event. If you're a dungeon master running D&D, You know, this is the kind of thing that you want to salt a place like this and create this area for your characters and have your players describe all this. But I can't go in there now. Really, really cool. And then not sure if this takes you to an old quest area or not. I guess not. There is one more little zone. So we have, we started in this area and we've worked all throughout here. And you can see this sort of plays out in sort of quest zones. You sort of do this area and then you do the Heartleaf with her garden or her tree the grove, the bridge, this area we just did here. And then there's this final zone, which we'll go into now. Working up our way here. There is some Out of the Abyss linking in here as well. The same way that you saw in Black Lake, where there were like demonic ritual pieces to reclaim, that would happen around here. And also some zones where you fight summoned demons to sort of reflect how they're intruding upon different areas of Neverwinter. This, as you can see, is sort of a huge maze. It also is used in the Acquisitions Incorporated storyline. And we'll just kind of go around meandering here, but it's neat. I mean, glowing rock, all of this area like this, really cool. And then we get to our fire giants. So we start to see that they're part of this. Let's see if I attack something else. They do like a fire whip attack, which is kind of cool. And summoning fire in a zone. Very neat when you're fighting them at that level. They're formidable foes initially. Wow, look at that view. Pouring magma, the rock up above, these pillars. Really nicely done. I love archons, these elementals that sort of glow with radiance. And in 4th edition, the miniatures that they made for the game, the drawings were all just really evocative, where they were less like, they're just sort of more fantastic than before, you know, really glowing and exploding and creating pools around them. Narrow like rock ledges. And when you were initially in this zone, you would sort of fight and be kind of confused as to where you were. You'd get a little lost and orient yourself in some way. So all of this takes you somewhere. I feel like it's around here. There's a dungeon that you have to access. I feel like I'm close to it. This is it, I think. Yeah. So now it's the Caverns of Kirundex, which is a dungeon, but I think when you are first doing the storyline, that is the entrance to where the fire giant general that we read about is hanging out. And I think that's right, unless it's another area. Really cool. Stomp. Looks like they're okay, so I'm just gonna let the battle play out. I like seeing how the monsters do things. Yeah, so I think this might be it. I think we've basically covered this zone now. Might have been another entrance somewhere. If there is, I'm not seeing it. That's really the biggest part of it here. We've seen that zone. really something. So that's it. We have reached the end. The zones that will be going away will be Black Lake District. We covered that. Tower District with the orcs. The Black Dagger Ruins with the pirates, bandits, the leftover family that had turned to necromancy, the gnolls. Then we had Helm's Hold, which was really fun with the zone with the Ashmedai devils attacking. We had Pirates Skyhold with enemy pirates that were undead at the very end of it, and lizard folk up front. All those flying earth moats. Roth Valley with the drow, and now Mount Hotenow with the Primordial trying to be awoken by fire giants. So neat. I got to do this. Glad that I could say goodbye to these zones. It's been really fun. I'll just answer a question here. Yeah, so that's it. If you have any questions about lower these areas, I will probably be able to remember this at some point when it's not very early in the morning. But that is the last live look I'm getting at those zones as they sunset off or will appear only in special events or other things like that. But that's the nature of the way these things go. You know, we get instead new zones that keep showing up, whether it's the River District that adds Neverwinter's own story or Cryptic Team's own story to it, or whether it's expressions of the different areas like Icewind Dale or Cholt. There's a lot to this world, so you know I'm not completely sad. I understand where these things are coming from, but I wanted to do one last attempt to capture the lore of the game. So with that, I will thank everybody who makes it through watching this, and hopefully it's a sort of resource that you can turn to over time to draw upon years after this content is not being used. I, as a DM, love having visuals to look at, so thinking through these lands that have been depicted in 3D like this by this excellent team really kind of makes me excited. If you like what I do here, support my work. I write adventures, I write supplements. One of my most recent works is the Rules for Collaborative Campaign Creation, which you can see the image there on the right side. You can get that for free at alphastream.org by signing up to my mailing list. And you can also support all these other works that I've done on the DMs Guild, dmsguild.com. You can find a list of everything I've worked on, including for other folks, sold through them at alphastream.org, as well as my blog. Subscribe to get updates, including streaming efforts. Like I'm running I'm part of a Dune live stream currently, teaching how to play Dune. Really fun. So if you go to alphastream.org, you won't miss any of those updates. If you subscribe to YouTube, you'll get everything that I do for that channel, like this probably longest video I've done. So I hope you really enjoyed this. I will be back soon to try to do. If you like what I do here, support my work. I write adventures, I write supplements. One of my most recent works is the Rules for Collaborative Campaign Creation, which you can see the image there on the right side. You can get that for free at alphastream.org by signing up to my mailing list. And you can also support all these other works that I've done on the DMs Guild, dmsguild.com. You can find a list of everything I've worked on, including for other folks, sold through them at alphastream.org, as well as my blog. Subscribe to get updates, including streaming efforts. Like I'm running I'm part of a Dune live stream currently, teaching how to play Dune. Really fun. So if you go to alphastream.org, you won't miss any of those updates. If you subscribe to YouTube, you'll get everything that I do for that channel.